Shabbat Shalom, family. Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to YAH'S Way, Truth and Life Assembly by way of the book room. We're so grateful to be in your presence tonight. We're so grateful to be back with another Shabbat. We know how baruch and blessed we are to have this opportunity to come before you. Hallelujah. Thank you, the Water, for allowing us to come into your presence, into your space, no matter where you may be, whether you're in your car, in your home, at your job, at the supermarket, wherever it may be. If you we're just grateful that you would take the time to just, respond to the notification and come into the book room with us tonight to read. Hallelujah. As we read through the Apocrypha, that's what our mission is at this particular time, is to read through the Apocrypha. And I want to say, family, to my North Carolina family, you don't want to be in Boston and Massachusetts tonight. My son came in the house, his hands was like icicles. He just got out of the car. So it's freezing. We're under emergency alert, emergency watch, because it is so cold and the wind is just crazy out there. But I've been in the house most of the day just chilling. So just want to say that I don't know what y'all are getting down there, but we definitely got some freezing, under freezing weather at this time. So I'm grateful to be in and warm and not planning on stepping outside the door. Hallelujah, till it changes. So with that being said, keep us in your prayers up here. Keep the homeless in your prayers because they're the ones. Matter of fact, I know in Lowell, my son was just telling me that they go around to all the places where the homeless are, and they collect them up and take them to shelters and places where they can be out of the cold. Many people are living in tents nowadays. It's time we're living in. I saw that in California some years ago, but now, in Mass Ave and all down near Boston Medical Center, there's tents set up all up and down the sidewalks, on the side streets, and there are plenty. Homelessness is just outrageous at this time, family. So pray much for our people that we would be more attentive to those that are in need. We just finished reading in Proverbs how we're not supposed to refuse the poor. We're supposed to, if we have it within our means, we're supposed to help them. Hallelujah. And that's wisdom and understanding coming from the Most High. Because the Mashiach said, as I said earlier, that he said, when you do this for the least of these, my little ones, you do it unto me. So when you find yourself refusing to help people that need help and you have it in your means, you're going to answer to him. Hallelujah. So if I'm going to set up my phone right now. I'm going to set up my phone. Trying to get to Sister Lisa, good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Sister Lisa Porter, Boston's in the room already. Hallelujah. Let me see what I'm trying to do here. Okay, I got to go here. Come here. Open this up. Go here. Shut the volume down. Sit on the stand. We off and running. All right, Moray Dumas, good to see you in the book room. We're getting ready to go into the book of First Maccabees chapter 5, where we'll be reading tonight. But I want to greet everyone, and I want to send a shout out to the 12 tribes scattered throughout the earth, the 12 tribes of Yasharal, Israel, scattered throughout the earth, soon to be gathered, scattered, but soon to be gathered. We're waiting on our King to come and get us out of this mess. Hallelujah. So family, hope everybody's doing well. Hope everyone's had a good week, and we're in the seventh day now. Hallelujah. In our Shabbat, our Sabbath, which we rest ourselves unto the Most High. As my brother Robert Kirby, good to see you in the room tonight, bro. Love you, man. Pray all is well with my kinfolk down there in Fayetteville. Hallelujah. So family, yes, we're grateful to be back in the room again. We just finished the lesson, a word for today. So I'm asking for prayer that I can be more consistent. Just so much to get done, and everything's done by computer and online, and it's just I mean, it's better than running around going place to place, but sometimes I feel like it would be better to just be able to walk in places and sign up for this and sign up than to be waiting on phones for hours just to get somebody to talk to, and then you get them on the phone and they say, "Oh well, let me connect you to the right department." Then you wait another hour. So it's a lot to be said about the system. Even though it's technology, it just can still be time consuming. And we come from a time when we just got things done. We were able to go here and there, walk in, get in line for a while, whatever have you. But you got it done. You dealt with people. Now it's like people don't even want to talk to you. People don't even want to talk to you. Text me, text me, email me. You know what I mean? When it comes to business, I'm talking about. So that being said, family, I'm just great. There's Pastor G in the room. Welcome to the book room, God's Way, Truth and Life Assembly. We're grateful to welcome you all up and here. And y'all can. I wish I could send you a taste of this cold weather. You probably can hear the wind blowing out there. It's blowing like crazy. But it's I don't know what the degrees are. I can look on my phone real quick and tell you what degrees are. It is here in Boston. It is in Lowell. Okay, let me see. Oh, it's -4 degrees, family. Wind chill warning. Wind chill warning until 1 p.m. Saturday, Friday, February 4th. Yep. Oh my goodness, it's 40. It's -4 degrees right now, and it's going to go up little by little through the night, and by sunrise, it will be a -11 degrees. -11 degrees by sunrise, and then it's going to start dropping back down for tomorrow. And tomorrow it's going to be -3. 7, 10, 13, going through the day. Oh yeah, we in for. I'm not going nowhere. I might come on 3 times tomorrow. Yeah. So what better thing to do with my time is stay warm and just share the word. All right. So all right, family. So we're in book of First Maccabees chapter 5, and we're gonna get ready to start reading. Any comments? Let me see if anybody's in YouTube on the YouTube side of this thing here. Okay, nobody in just. Oh no, I gotta go up here. Nobody in on the YouTube side. If you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, please go in, type in the book room and subscribe. It might say Way, Truth, and Life. I think both of them. I think they come up together now. Go in, subscribe, so you can be on the platform and make your comments. We can put your comments up there, and I'm going to do something that I don't hardly ever do. I got to put it in. Okay. All right. You put this light on for a minute because I can't see what I'm typing. All right, so we're coming back. We are right here. We got you. We got you. We got you. Bam, there we go. All right, we want to welcome, okay, everybody that's in. We're going to get started reading. What time is it? It's 8:21. I'm a little late. Okay, let's get going, family. All right, again, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, peace and blessings to you all. and welcome again to the book room. We're going to get started reading. First Maccabees chapter 5. I got to learn how to bring people in because I would love for people to come in and help me read sometimes. There are the Billingers or the Phillips in the room. Hallelujah. Ima Apaya and Zakim Clarence in the room. Hallelujah. So good to see you both. Hallelujah in the room. And we're going to get started, and we're going, and she usually puts out, see, she got our scriptures up there, First Maccabees chapter 5, and let's get it, as they say. All right. So we're reading through the Apocrypha. Once again, if you don't have it, you can download it on your device, or you can purchase it on Amazon. There are different ones. There's the red book, which is the most familiar one for most people, but you can get the full Apocrypha, the complete Apocrypha. But it'll have in there, the complete Apocrypha has Joshua, Jubilees, and Enoch in it, and some other, and maybe some other writings. But we're gonna get started now, family. So here we go. First Maccabees chapter 5. Now, when the nations round about heard that the altar was built and the sanctuary renewed as before, it displeased them very much. Listen to this. Now we're reading this. We read last night that the Maccabee boys, they did their thing. They took back the temple and rededicated the temple and set everything back in order. Dealt with everybody that was against keeping the law, statutes, commandments. Reestablished everything in their defeat. They had their feast of dedication, and they deemed it every year to be a monumental celebrated. And so now we come to chapter 5, and of course, again, we know that the nations have always been against Yasharal, against Israel. So that's how it starts out, right? And it says, now when the nations round about heard that the altar was built and the sanctuary renewed as before, it displeased them very much. Why would it displease them? It's because they know that our God, our Elohim, is what? Is the true and living, and they knew the reputation of the children of Israel as long as they obeyed their creator. They never lost a battle. They only lost battles when they were in sin, and that's till this day. Hallelujah. See, but we were born in sin. We really were born in sin, shapen in iniquity. Hallelujah. Because we were born in captivity, and we grew up in the customs of our oppressors, not knowing our own. All right. So verse 2, wherefore they through thought to destroy the generations of Jacob that was among them, and thereupon they began to slay and destroy the people. Look at that. Maccabees boys do their thing. What happens? The nations come after them. All right. Then Judas fought against the children of Esau. Esau, Idumea, at Arabatim, because they besieged Gael, and he gave them a great overthrow and abated their courage and took their spoils. So we know who Esau is in Idumea, all right? And so he had to fight against, here we are fighting against our brother, okay? Our uncle. Hallelujah. Also, verse 4, also he remembered the injuries of the children of Bean, who had been a snare and an offense unto the people, in that they laid in wait for them in the ways. He shut them up, therefore, in the towers, and encamped against them, and destroyed them utterly, and burned the towers of that place with fire, and all that were therein. Here we are being victorious with the leadership of our how could we say, Uncle Judas Maccabees. How y'all like to say stuff like that. All right, verse 6. Afterward, he passed over the children of Ammon, where he found a mighty power and much people with Timotheus, their captain. So he fought many battles with them till at length they were discomfited before him, and he smote them. And when he had taken Jezreel with the towns belonging thereto, he returned to Judea. Then the heathens that were at Gilead uh, 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 assembled themselves together against the Israelites that were in their quarters to destroy them, but they fled to the fortress of Dathema, Dathema, and sent letters unto Judas and his brethren. The heathens that are around about us are assembled together against us to destroy us. And they were preparing to come and take the fortress until we had fled. Timotheus began being captain of their host. Come now, therefore, and deliver us. This is they're writing this to Judas. Come therefore and deliver us from their hands, for many of us are slain. We're losing this battle, Judas. Yea, all our brethren that were in places uh, of Toby are put to death, their wives and their children, as also they have carried away captives and borne away their stuff, and they have destroyed there about 1,000 men. While these letters were yet reading, behold, there came over other messengers from Galilee, with their clothes rent, who reported on this wise, and said, they of Ptolemy and of Tyrus and Sidon and at Galilee, and all Galilee of the Gentiles are assembled together against us to consume us. Now, when Judas and the people heard these words, there assembled a great congregation together to consult what they should do for their brethren that were in trouble and assaulted of them. When then said Judas unto Simeon, or to Simon his brother, choose thee out men, and go and deliver thy brethren that are in Galilee, for I and Jonathan, my brother, will go into the country of Gilead. So he went, so he left Joseph, the son of Zacharias, and Azarias, captain of the people, with the remnant of the host of Judea to keep it, unto whom he gave commandments, saying, take ye the charge of this people, and see that ye make not war against the heathen until the time that we come again. Now unto Simon were given 3,000 men to go into Galilee, and unto Judas 8,000 men to go into Gilead. Then went Simon into Galilee, where he fought many battles with the heathen, so that the heathen were discomfited by him. And he pursued them unto the gates of Ptolemy, and there was slain of the heathen about 3,000 men, whose spoils he took. Verse 23, and those that were in Galilee and in Arabatus, with their wives and their children, and all that they had, took he away with him, and brought them to Judea with great joy. Now Maccabees, being Judas Maccabees also, and his brother Jonathan, went over Jordan and traveled 3 days' journey in the wilderness, where they met with Nabathites, whom came unto them in a peaceable manner, and told them everything that had happened to their brethren in the land of Gilead, and how that many of them were shut up in Bozrah and Alima, Caspar, marked or maked, and Carnam. All these cities are strong and great, and that they were shut up in the rest of the cities of the country of Gilead, and that against against tomorrow, that they appointed to bring their host against the forts and to take them and to destroy them all in one day. Hereunto, Judas and his host turned suddenly by the way of the wilderness unto Bozrah, and when he had won the city, he slew all the males with the edge of the sword, and took all their spoils, and burned the city with fire. For whence he removed by night, and went till he came to the fortress. And betimes in the morning they looked up, and behold, there was an innumerable people bearing ladders and other engines of war to take the fortress, for they assaulted them. And when Judas therefore saw that the battle was begun, and that the cry of the city went up to heaven, and with trumpets and a great sound, he said unto his host, fight this day for your brethren. Now they're sounding the trumpet, they're blowing the shofar, it's going up to heaven, hallelujah, with a great sound, hallelujah, and they're crying out. Watch this. So, verse 33, so he went from behind them to three companies who sounded their trumpets and cried with prayer, hallelujah. Then the host of Timotheus, knowing that it was Maccabees, fled from him, wherefore he smote them with a great slaughter, so that there were killed of them that day about 8,000 men. This done, Judas turned aside to Mishpah, and after he had assaulted it, he took and slew all the males therein, and received the spoils thereof, and burnt it with fire. Now he's on the move. For thence went he and took Caspon, Meged, Bozrah, and other cities of the country of Gilead. After these things gathered Timotheus another host, and encamped against Raphon, beyond the brook. So Judas sent men to spy the host, who brought him word, saying, all the heathen that be round about us are assembled unto them, even a very great host. Verse 39, he have also hired Arabians to help him, and they have pitched their tents beyond the brook, ready to come and fight against thee. Upon this Judas went to meet them. Hallelujah. Then Timotheus said unto the captains of the host, when Judas and his host come near the brook, if he pass over first unto us, we shall not be able to withstand him, for he will mightily prevail against us. But if we be afraid and camp beyond the river, we shall go over unto him and prevail against him. Now when Judas came near the brook, he caused the scribes of the people to remain by the brook, until whom he gave commandment, saying, suffer no man to remain in the camp, but let all come to the battle. So he went first over unto them, and all the people after him. Then all the heathen, being discomfited before him, cast away their weapons, and fled unto the temple that was at Carnaeum. But verse 44, but they took the city and burned the temple with all that were therein. Thus was Carnaeum subdued, neither could they stand any longer before Judas. Then Judas gathered together all the Israelites that were in the country of Gilead, from the least unto the greatest, even their wives and their children and their staff, and their stuff, and a very great host, to the end they might come into the land of Judea. Hallelujah. Now when they came unto Ephron, this was a great city in the way as they should go, very well fortified. They could not turn from it either on the right hand or the left, but must needs pass through the midst of it. Then they of the city shut them out, and stopped up the gates with stones. Whereunto Judas sent unto them in peaceable manner, saying, let us pass through your land to go into our own country, and none shall do you any hurt. We will only pass through on foot, howbeit they would not open unto them. Wherefore Judas commanded a proclamation to be made throughout the host, that every man should pitch his tent in a place where he was. So the soldiers pitched as and assaulted the city all that day and all that night till the length of the city was delivered into his hands. Man, that Judas a bad boy. Who then slew all the males with the edge of the sword and razed the city and took the spoils thereof and passed through the city over them that were slain. After this went they over Jordan into the great plain there, Bethshan. And Judas gathered together those that came behind and exhorted the people all the way through, till they came into the land of Judea. So they went up to Mount Sion with joy and gladness, where they offered burnt offerings, because not one of them, listen, not one of them was slain until they had returned in peace. Hallelujah. Look at that. Not one of them, all the thousands of people that they slew, not one of them was slain. Hallelujah. Ema Bailey, welcome to the book room. Good to see you. All right, all right. Verse 55, First Maccabees, chapter 5, verse 55. Now, what time as Judas and Jonathan were in the land of Gilead, and Simon his brother in Galilee before Pope Ptolemy, Joseph the son of Zacharias and Azarias, captain of the garrisons, heard of the valiant acts and warlike deeds which they had done. Wherefore they said, let us go unto and also and get us a name, and go fight against the heathen that are round about us. That's one thing about us, family. We can't do this without the Most High. We have to have His guidance. We cannot save ourselves. We cannot deliver ourselves out of this captivity. He said that He's going to come. The best we can do is wake up, remember, wake up, pray, fast, fall on our face, cry out, right? And be a light. Return to the law, statutes, and commandments. But the Most High, if He's not leading us, we're not getting out. But He's coming back. His Son is coming back. Hamashiach is coming to gather us and give us the victory that has been promised to us through our fathers Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I have to say that. Let me keep reading. Hallelujah. Verse 56, Joseph, okay, verse 57. Wherefore they said, let us go and get us a name. That sounds like the people in Sinai, right? When they built the Tower of Babel, they wanted to make a name for themselves and go fight against the heathen that are round about. We can't get so proud and puffed up because we know who we are, that we're going to go ahead of the Most High. Hallelujah. Because we're going without Him. We have to follow Him. He doesn't follow us. Hallelujah. So when they had given charge unto the garrisons that was with them, they went toward Jamnia, and then came Gorgias and his men out of the city to fight against them. And so it was that Joseph and Azarias were put to flight and pursued unto the borders of Judea, and there were slain that day of the people of Israel about 2,000 men. Now here, all of these men went out. Judas and them went out, came back, not lost one man. But you let pride rise up in one man, and they lose 2,000 men in one battle because they wanted to make a name for themselves. This is not about us making a name for ourselves, family. This is about us humbling ourselves and allowing the Most High to be glorified. Hallelujah. We can't be leading people into a ditch, blind leading the blind, and we all end up in a ditch. Me personally, I'm not going behind nobody that wants to fight, wants to get reparations, wants to do all that. I can't do it. That's just me. I'm just speaking for me. Let me keep reading. I don't want to get myself in trouble. Hallelujah. It says, thus, okay, 2,000 men, verse 61. Thus was there a great overthrow among the children of Israel, because they were not obedient unto Judas and his brethren, but thought to do some valiant act. Mm, mm, mm. Moreover, listen, these men came not to the seed of those by whose hand deliverance was given unto Israel. Howbeit the man Judas and his brethren were greatly renowned in the sight of all Israel and of all the heathen wheresoever their names were. So they weren't, they weren't of the seed. It said they weren't even of the seed. Listen, more with these men talking about Joseph and Azarias, they weren't even of the seed of those by whose hand deliverance was given, meaning Israel, unto Israel. Mm-mm-mm. So, in so much as verse 64, I'm sorry, howbeit, verse 63, howbeit the man Judas and his brethren were greatly renowned in the sight of all Israel and of all the heathen, wheresoever their names was heard of, insomuch as the people assembled unto them with joyful acclamations. Afterward, when Judas fought, afterward went Judas forth with his brethren and fought against the children of Esau. Look at that. We're always fighting with Esau, right? In the land toward the south, where he smote Hebron, and the towns thereof, and pulled down the fortress of it, and burnt the towers thereof round about it. From thence he removed to go into the land of Philistines, and passed through Samaria. At that time, certain priests, desirous to show their valor, were slain in battle, for that they went out to fight unadvisedly. There's some priests that went out to fight unadvisedly. They wanted to show their valor, because they were, So Judas turned to Azotus in the land of the Philistines, and when he had pulled down their altars and burnt their carved images with fire, he spoiled their cities. He returned into the land of Judea. Mm-mm-mm. You got to stay with the nation. You got to stay with the nation. You can't go without. Judah leads. You got to stay with the nation. Even the priests, look at the priests. They wanted to be valiant and fight, and they died. Chapter 6, verse Maccabees. About that time, King Antiochus, traveling through the high countries, heard say that Amias, I'll just say it that way, in the country of Persia was a city greatly renowned for riches, silver, and gold, and that there was in it a very rich temple, wherein were coverings of gold and breastplates and shields, which Alexander, son of Philip, the Macedonian king who reigned first among the Grecians, had left there. Wherefore he came and sought to take the city and to spoil it, but he was not able, because they of the city, having had warning thereof, rose up against him in battle. So he fled and departed thence with great heaviness and returned to Babylon. Moreover, verse 5, moreover, there came one who brought him tidings in Persia, that the armies which went against the land of Judea were put to flight, and that Lysias, who went forth first with a great power, was driven away of the Jews, and that they were made strong by the armor and power and the store of spoils which they had gotten of the armies whom they had destroyed. Also, that they had pulled down the abominations which he had set up upon the altars in Jerusalem, and that he was compassed about the sanctuary. He had compassed about the sanctuary with high walls, as before, and his city Beth Shura. Now, verse 8. Now, when the king heard these words, he was astonished and sore moved, whereupon he laid him down upon his bed and fell sick for grief, because it had not befallen him as he looked for, hadn't went his way. And there he continued many days, for his grief was ever more and more, and he made account that he should die. Wherefore he called for all his friends and said unto them, the sleep is gone from my eyes, and my heart faileth for very care. And I thought with myself, into what tribulation I am come, and how great a flood of misery is it, wherein now I am, for I was bountiful and beloved of my power, in my power. But now I remember the evils that I did at Jerusalem, and that I took all the vessels of gold and silver. This is Antiochus talking, right? Gold and silver that were therein, and sent to destroy the inhabitants of Judea without a cause. I perceive therefore that for this cause these troubles are come upon me. Look at the Most High getting the glory. And behold, I perished through great grief in a strange land. Then called he for Philip, one of his friends, whom he made ruler over all his realm, and gave him the crown and his robe and his signet, to the end he should bring up his son Antiochus, he had a son, and nourish him up for the kingdom. So King Antiochus died there in the 149th year. Now when Lysias knew that the king was dead, he set up Antiochus his son, whom he had brought up being young, to reign in his stead, and his name was called Eupator. About this time, they that were in the tower shut up the Israelites round about the sanctuary, and sought always their hurt. Listen to that. And the strengthening of the heathen. Wherefore Judas proposing to destroy them, called all the people together to besiege them. So they came together and besieged them in the 150th year, that 1 year later, right? And he made mounts for shot against them, and other engines. Howbeit certain of them that were besieged got forth, unto whom some ungodly men of Israel joined themselves. Look at that. There we go again, going against our own people, joining ourselves with the enemy. Happens all the time, and it's happening in this awakening. Hallelujah. We got to know them that labor among us. Hallelujah. All right. And they went to the king and said, how long will it be ere that thou execute judgment and avenge our brethren? We have been willing to serve thy father. Listen to that. These are Israelites. We have been willing to serve thy father, and to do as he would have us, and to obey his commandments. For which cause they of our nation besiege the tower, and are alienated from us. Moreover, as many of us as they could light on, they slew. Look at that. That's right. You're against us, we're gonna slay you, right? And spoiled our inheritance. Never, it says, neither have they stretched out their hand against us only, but only against their borders. Listen, family, if I say something and I need to be corrected, please put it in the chat. I'm doing good, Sister Lisa. Good to see you. Welcome to the book room. All right. Neither have they stretched out their hand against us only, but also against their borders. And behold, this day are they besieging the tower at Jerusalem to take it. The sanctuary also and Beth Shura have they fortified. Wherefore, if thou not prevent them quickly, they will do the greater things than these, neither shalt thou be able to rule them. Man, they want to rule over us so bad. They finally got it. We were born in it. Let's keep reading. Now, when the king heard this, he was angry, and gathered together all his friends and the captains of his army, and those that had charge of the horse. There came also unto him from other kingdoms, and from isles of the sea, bands of hired soldiers, so that the number of his army was 100,000 footmen, 20,000 horsemen, and 30,000 elephants exercised in battle. They went through Idumea. Listen, they went through Idumea. That's Esau, right? And pitched against. These went through Idumea and pitched against Bethshura, which they assaulted. They assaulted many days, making engines of war. But they Bethshura came out and burned them with fire and fought valiantly. Upon this, Judas removed from the tower and pitched in Beth Beth Zaccharis over against the king's camp. Then the king, rising very early, marched fiercely with his host toward Beth Zacchaeus, where his enemies made him ready to battle and sounded the trumpets, and and to the end they might provoke the elephants to fight, where they showed them the blood of grapes and mulberries. Moreover, they divided the beasts among the armies, and for every elephant they had appointed 1,000 men. Armies with coats of armed with coats of mail and with helmets of brass on their heads. And besides this, for every beast were ordained 500 horsemen of the best. These were ready at every occasion wheresoever the beast was, and whatsoever the beast went, they went also, neither departed they from him. And upon the beast there were strong towers of wood, which covered every one of them, and they and were girt fast unto them with devices. There were also upon every one 32 strong men, and fought upon them, besides the Indian that ruled him. As for the remnant, that's the one that ruled them, that trained and ruled the elephant, right? As for the remnant of the horsemen, they sat them on this side and that side as the two parts of the host, giving them signs what to do, and being harnessed all over amidst the ranks. Now, when the sun shone upon the shields of gold and brass, the mountains glittered therewith, and shined like lamps of fire. So part of the king's army being spread upon the high mountain, the part on the valleys below, they marched on safely in an order. Wherefore all that heard the noise of their multitude, and the marching of the company, and the rattling of the harness, were moved, for the army was very great and mighty. Then Judas and his host drew near and entered into battle, and there were slain of the king's army 6,000 men. Eleazar also, some surnamed Savarin, perceiving that one of the beasts armed with royal harness was higher than all the rest, and supposing that the king was upon him, put himself in jeopardy, to the end he might deliver his people and get him a perpetual name. Wherefore he ran upon him courageously through the midst of the battle, slain on the right and on the left, so that they were divided from him on both sides. That boy was bad. Which done, he crept under the elephant and thrust him under and slew him, whereupon the elephant fell down upon him, and there he died. Howbeit, the rest of the Jews, seeing the strength of the king and the violence of his forces, turned away from them. We on the run. And the king's army went up to Jerusalem to meet them, and the king pitched his tent against Judea and against Mount Zion. But with them that were in Bethshura, he made peace, for they came out they came out of the city, because they had no victuals there to endure the siege, it being a year of rest to the land. It being a year of rest to the land. Wait a minute, because they had no victual there to endure the siege, because it being a year of rest, they hadn't farmed. That was what, the seventh year, when the land rested for a year. There we go with the feast days, with the feast days, with the holy days. So the king took Beth Shura and set a garrison before there to keep it. As for the sanctuary, he besieged it many days and sat there artillery with engines and instruments to cast fire and stones and pieces of and pieces to cast darts and slings. Whereupon they also made engines against their enemies and held them battle a long season. Yet at the last, their 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 vessels being without victuals, for that it was the seventh year, and that in Judea they were they were delivered from the Gentiles, had eaten up the residue of the stores. There was but a few left in the sanctuary, because the famine did so prevail against them that they were fain to disperse themselves, every man to his own place. Chapter 7, time is 8:57. Chapter 7, First Maccabees. In the 150 year, Demetrius, the son of Seleucus, Seleucus, uh, departed from Rome and came up with a few men unto the city of the seacoast and reigned there. And as he entered into the palace of his ancestors, so it was that his forces had taken Antiochus and Lysias to bring them unto him. Wherefore, when he knew it, he said, "Let me not see their faces." So his host slew them. But when Demetrius was set upon the throne of his kingdom, there came unto him all the wicked and ungodly men of Israel. Listen, pay attention. There came unto him what? All the wicked and ungodly men of Israel, having Alchemist, who was desirous to be high priest for their captain. So here comes some wicked Israelites going to the enemy, bringing their boy, who they following, this alchemist who wanted to be high priest, desiring a position, a godly position at that. It says, and they accused the people to the king, saying, Judas and his brethren have slain all thy friends and driven us out of our own land. Yeah, because you're wicked. Now therefore send some men whom thou trustest, and let him go and see what havoc he have made among us and in the king's land, and let him punish them with all them that aid him. Listen to these wicked Israelites. That the king chose Bacchias, a friend of the king, who ruled beyond the flood and was a great man in the kingdom and faithful to the king. And him he sent with that wicked alchemist, whom he made high priest. So the king made him a high priest. He didn't have the right to make him. He was a high priest in his kingdom, but not in Israel, right? And commanded that he should take vengeance on the children of Israel. So they departed and came with a great power into the land of Judea, where they sent messengers to Judas and his brethren with peaceable words, deceitfully. Get that? Peaceable words. How you going to speak peaceable words but deceitfully, right? But they gave no heed to their words, for they saw that they were come with a great power. Then did there assemble unto Alchemists and Bacchias a company of scribes to require justice. Now the Assyrians were the first among the children of Israel that sought peace of them, and said they, once that one that is a priest of the seed of Aaron is come with this army, and he will do us no wrong. Yeah, right. So he spake unto them peaceably, and swear unto them, saying, we will procure the harm neither of you nor your friends. Whereupon they believed him, howbeit he took of them 80 men and slew them in one day, according to the words which he wrote. The flesh of thy saints have they cast out, and their blood have they shed round about Jerusalem, and there was none to bury them. Wherefore the fear and dread of them fell upon all the people, who said, there is neither truth nor righteousness in them, for they have broken the covenant and oath that they made. After this, removed Bacchias from Jerusalem and pitched his tent in Bezek, uh, where he sent and took many of the men that had forsaken him, and the certain of the people also. And when he had slain them, he cast them in the great pit. Then committed he the country to Alchemus, and left with him a power to aid him. So Bacchias went to the king, but Alchemus contended for the high priesthood. Mhm. And unto him restored all such as troubled the people, who after they had gotten the land of Judah into their power, did much hurt to Israel. Now when Judah saw all the mischief that Alchemus had and his company had done among the Israelites, even above the heathen, he went out into all the coast of Judea round about, and took vengeance of them that had revolted from him. He went and got them traitors, so that they durst not more go forth into the country, because they just did. On the other side, when Alchemist saw that Judas and his company had gotten the upper hand, and knew that he was not able to abide their force, he went again to the king and said all the worst of them that he could. This boy trying to get the king against Judas. And the king sent Nicanor. Here we go. Sent Nicanor, one of his honorable princes, a man that bare deadly hate unto Israel, with commandments to destroy the people. So Nicanor came to Jerusalem with a great force, and sent unto Judas and his brethren deceitfully with friendly words, saying, let there be no battle between me and you. I will come with a few men, that I may see you in peace. He came therefore to Judas, and they saluted one another peaceably. Howbeit the enemies were prepared to take away Judas by violence, which thing after it was known to Judas, to wit, that he came unto him with deceit, he was sore afraid of him, and would see his face no more. Nicanor also, when he saw that his counsel was discovered, went out to fight against Judas beside Kappa Salama, where there were slain of Nicanor's side about 5,000 men, and the rest fled into the city of David. After this, when went Nicanor up to Mount Sion, and there came out of the sanctuary certain of the priests and certain of the elders of the people, and salute him peaceably, and to show him the burnt sacrifice that was offered for the king. They offered a burnt sacrifice for the king, so they were traitors. But he mocked them and laughed at them, and abused them shamefully, and spake proudly. He said, I don't care what you might have sacrificed for the king, but they killed him anyway. And swear in his wrath, saying, unless Judas and his host be now delivered into my hand, if ever I come again in safety, I will burn up this house. And with that he went out in a great rage. Oh yeah, delivered into my, okay, verse 36. Then the priest entered in and stood before the altar and the temple, weeping and saying, Thou, O Lord, didst choose this house to be called by thy name, and to be a house of prayer and petition for the people. Be avenged of this man and his host, and let them fall. Okay, these are the priests. Okay, these are righteous priests, I guess. Okay, be avenged of this man and his host, and let them fall by the sword. Remember their blasphemies, and suffer them not to continue any longer. Now Nicanor went out of Jerusalem and pitched his tent in Betharon, where an host out of Syria met him. But Judas pitched in uh, Adassa, Adassa, I said Adassa, where 3,000 men, and and there he prayed, saying, O Lord, when they that were sent from the king of Assyria blasphemed, thine angels went out and smote 185,000 of them. Even so destroy thou this host before us this day, that the rest may know that he has spoken blasphemily against thy sanctuary, and judge thou him according to his wickedness. So the 13th day of the month Adar, the host joined battle, but Nicanor's host was discomfited, and he himself was first slain in the battle. Listen, now when Nicanor's host saw that he was slain, they cast away their weapons and fled. Then they pursued them a day's journey from Adassa unto Gezerah, sounding an alarm after them with their trumpets. Whereupon they came forth out of all the towns of Judea round about and closed them in, so that they, turning back up upon them that pursued them, were all slain with the sword, and not one of them was left. Afterward, they took the spoils and the prey and smote off Nicanor's head, right? And his right hand, which he had stretched out so proudly, and brought them away and hanged them up toward Jerusalem. For this cause, listen, the people rejoiced greatly, and they kept that day of great gladness. Moreover, they ordained to keep yearly this day, being the 13th of Adar. Thus the land of Judah was in rest a little while. Hallelujah. It's 9:08. Last chapter, family. Y'all still with me? All praises, all praises. Last chapter, chapter 8, because we started at about, I think, 8:28 or something like that. So we're going to finish up one more chapter. Chapter 8. Now Judas had heard of the Romans. Listen, Romans in the picture. Judas had, that's Shittim. Okay. Jews had heard of the Romans, that they were mighty and valiant men, and such as would lovingly accept all that joins themselves unto them, and make a league of army of enmity with all that came unto them, and that they were men of great valor. It was told him also of their war and noble acts which they had done among the Galatians, and how they had conquered them and brought them under tribute, and what they had done in the country of Spain for the winning of the mines of the silver and gold which is there, and that by their policy and patience they had conquered all the place, though it were very far from them. And the kings also that came against them from the uttermost parts of the earth, till they had discomfited them and given them a great overthrow, so that the rest did give them tribute every year. These Romans some bad boys. Besides this, how they had discomfited in battle Philip and Perseus, king of Scythians, with others that lifted up themselves against them and had overcome them. How also Antiochus, the great king of Asia, that came against them in battle, having 120 elephants with horsemen and chariots and a very great army, was discomfited by them. And how they, now listen to the testimony of these Romans, and how they took them alive and covenanted that he and such as reigned after him should pay a great tribute and give hostage, and that which was agreed upon. Wow. And the country of India and Media and Lydia, and of the goodliest countries which they took of him and gave to King Eumenes, how do you say it? Moreover, how the Grecians had determined to come and destroy them, and that they, having knowledge thereof, sent against them a certain captain, and fighting with them, slew many of them, and carried away captives their wives and their children, and spoiled them, and took possessions of their lands, and pulled down their strongholds, and brought them to their servants unto this day. It was told him besides how they destroyed and brought under their dominion all other kingdoms and isles that at any time resisted them. Remember that fourth beast? The bad boy, iron. Verse 12. But with their friends and such as relied upon them, they kept amity. And that they had and that they had conquered kingdoms both far and nigh, insomuch as all that heard of their name were afraid of them, that also that whom they would help to a kingdom, also that whom they would help to a kingdom, those reign, and whom against they displaced finally, and they were greatly exalted. Yet for all this none of them wore a crown or was clothed in purple to be magnified thereby. Moreover, how they had made of themselves a senate house, there it is, wherein 320 men sat in council daily. See, we're getting ready to come into this Roman rule before Hamashiach comes. So see, that whole 400 years they said was silence. Let's keep reading. Moreover, how they had made from themselves a senate house at verse 15, wherein 320 men sat in council daily, consulting always for the people, to the end that they might be well ordered. Colonization. And that they committed their government to one man every year, who ruled over all their countries, and that all were obedient to that one, and that there was neither envy nor emulation among them. In consideration of these things, Judas chose Eupolemus, I don't know how to say it, Eupolemus, the son of John, the son of Akos, and Jason, the son of Eleazar, and sent them to Rome to make a league of amity and confederacy with them, and to entreat them that they would take the yoke from them, for they saw that the kingdom of the Grecians did oppress Israel with servitude. They went therefore to Rome, which was a very great journey, and came into the Senate, where they spake and said, Judas Maccabees with his brethren and the people of the Jews have sent us unto you to make a confederacy and peace with you, and that we might be registered your confederates and friends, so that matter please the Romans well. And thus is the copy of the epistle which the Senate wrote back again in tablets of brass, and sent to Jerusalem, and there they might have by them a memorial of peace and confederacy. Verse 23, chapter 8, First Maccabees. Good success be to the Romans and to the people of the Jews, by sea and by land forever. The sword also and enmity be far from thee. If there come first any war upon the Romans or any of their confederates there throughout all their dominion, the people of the Jews shall help them, as the time shall be appointed with all their heart. Neither shall they give anything unto them that make war upon them, and aid them with victuals, weapons, money, or ships, as it hath seemed good unto the Romans, but they shall keep their covenant without taking anything therefore. In the same manner also, if war come first upon the nation of the Jews, the Romans shall help them with all their heart, according as the time shall be appointed them. Neither shall victuals be given to them that take part against them, or weapons, or money, or ships, as it have seemed good to the Romans. But they shall keep their covenant, and they without deceit, and that without deceit. According to these articles did the Romans make a covenant with the people of the Jews. Howbeit, if hereafter the one party or the other shall think to meet and add or diminish anything, they may do it as at their pleasure, and whatsoever they shall add or take away shall be ratified. Okay. And as touching the evils that Demetrius doeth to the Jews, we have written unto him, saying, wherefore thou make that yoke heavy upon our friends and confederates, the Jews. Wherefore thou make thy yoke heavy upon our friends and confederates, the Jews. And if therefore they complain any more against thee, we will do them justice and fight with thee by sea and by land. I think we get one more in. We're going to stop. 9:17. Yep. Chapter 9, First Maccabees. Where furthermore, when Demetrius heard that Nicanor and his hosts were slain in battle, he sent Bacchius and Alchemus into the land of Judea the second time, and with them the chief strength of his host, who went forth by the way that leadeth to Galgala, and pitched their tents before Mashallah, which is in Arbela, and after they had won it, they slew much people. Also, the first month of 152nd year, they encamped before Jerusalem, from whence they removed and went to Berea, and with 20,000 footmen and 2,000 horsemen. Now Judas had pitched his tent in Elisah, and 3,000 chosen men with him, who seeing the multitude of the other army of he so great, were so afraid, whereupon many conveyed themselves out of the host, in so much as abode of them no more but 800 men. When Judas therefore saw that his host split away, and that the battle pressed upon him, he was sore troubled in mind and much distressed, for that he had no time to gather them together. Nevertheless, unto them that remained, he said, let us arise and go up against our enemy, if peradventure we may be able to fight with them. But they disheartened him, saying, we shall never be able. Let us now rather save our lives, and thereafter we will return with our brethren and fight against them, for we are but few. Then Judas said, God forbid that I should do this thing and flee away from them. If our time be come, let us die manfully for our brethren, and let us not stain our honor. With that, the host of Bacchius removed out of their tents and stood over against them, their horsemen being divided into two troops, and their singers and archers going before the host, and they that marched in the forward were almighty men. As for Bacchius, he was in the right wing. So the host drew near on two parts, and sounded their trumpets. They also of Judah's side, even they sounded their trumpets also, so that the earth shook. Watch this, at the noise of the armies. And the battle continued from morning till night. Now when Judas perceived that Bacchius and the strength of his army were on the right side, he took with him all the hardy men, and who discomfited the right wing, and pursued them unto Mount Azotus. But when they of the left wing saw that they of the right wing were discomfited, they followed upon Judas and those that were with him hard at the heels from behind, whereupon there were so whereupon there was a sore battle, in so much as many were slain on both parts. Judas also was killed. And the remnant fled. And Jonathan and Simon took Judas their brother and buried him in the sepulchre of his father in Modin. Moreover, they bewailed him, and all Israel made great lamentation for him and mourned many days, saying, how is the valiant man fallen that delivered Israel? As for the other things concerning Judas and his wars, and the nobles acts of his he did, and his greatness, they are not written. They are not written, for they were very many, but they're not written. Okay. And now after the death of Judas, the wicked began to put forth their heads in all their coast of Israel, and there arose up all such as wrought iniquity. And in those days also was there a very great famine, by reason whereof the country revolted and went with them. And Bacchus chose the wicked men and made them lords of the country. And there they made inquiry of search for Judas' friends, and brought them unto Bacchus, who took vengeance of them and used them despitefully. So was there a great affliction in Israel, and like whereof was not since the time that a prophet was not seen among them. For this cause all Judas' friends came together and said unto Jonathan, since thy brother Judas died, we have no man like him to go forth against our enemies, and Bacchus and against them of our nation that are adversaries to us. Even their own people went with the enemy. That's Israel. We gotta be. Now, therefore, we have chosen thee this day to be our prince and captain in his stead, that thou mayest fight our battles. Upon this, Jonathan took the governance upon him that at that time, and rose up instead of his brother Judas. But when Bacchus got knowledge thereof, he sought for to slay him. Then Jonathan and Simon, his brothers, of all that were with him, perceiving that, fled into the wilderness of Tekoa, I'll just like that, and pitched their tents by the water of the pool of Asphar. Which when Bacchus understood, he came near to Jordan with all his host upon the Sabbath day. Remember that? Now Jonathan had sent his brother John to a captain of the people to pray his friends, the Nabathites, that they might leave with them their carriages, which was much. But the children of Jambri came out of Madaba, and took John and all that he had, and went their way with it. After this came word to Jonathan and Simon his brother, that the children of Jambri made a great marriage, and were bringing the bride for Nadabatha with a great train, and being the daughter of one of the great princes of Canaan. Therefore they remembered John their brother, and went up and hid themselves under the cover of the mountain. And when they lifted up their eyes and looked, and behold, there was much ado and a great carriage. And the bridegroom came forth, and his friends and brethren, he met them with drums and instruments of music and many weapons. Then Jonathan and they that were with them rose up against them from the place where they lay in ambush, and made a slaughter of them in such sort as many fell dead, and the remnant fled into the mountains, and they took all their spoils. Thus was the marriage turned into mourning, and the noise of their melody into lamentation. So when they had avenged fully the blood of their brother, they turned again to the marsh of Jordan. So then they had avenged, verse 43. Now, when Bacchias heard thereof, he came on the Sabbath day unto the banks of Jordan with a great power. And Jonathan said unto his company, let us go up now and fight for our lives, for it standeth not with us today as in times past. For behold, the battle is before us and behind us, and the waters of Jordan on this side and that side, the marsh likewise, the wood, neither is there place for us to turn aside. Wherefore cry ye now unto heaven, that ye may be delivered from the hand of your enemies. With that they joined battle, and Jonathan stretched forth his hand to smite Bacchias, but he turned back from him. And then Jonathan and they that were with him leaped into Jordan and swam over unto the other bank. Howbeit the others passed not over Jordan unto them. Now there were slain of Bacchias' side that day about 1,000 men. Afterward returned Bacchias to Jerusalem and repaired the strong city of Judea. And the fort in Jericho, and Eminus, and Betharon, and Bethel, and the Parathoni, and Tophon. These did he strengthen with high walls and gates and with bars, and in them he set a garrison that they might work malice against Israel. He fortified also the city Bethshura and Gazara, and the tower, and put forces in them and provisions of victuals. Besides, he took the chief men's sons in the countries for hostages and put them into the tower at Jerusalem to be kept. Moreover, in the 150th and third year, in the second month, Alchemists commanded that the walls of the inner court of the sanctuary should be pulled down. He pulled down also the works of the prophets. And as he began to pull down, even as that time was Alchemist plagued. Watch out, Alchemist. That's the one that wanted to be a priest, right? But he ain't of the priesthood. And his enterprise hindered, for his mouth was stopped, and he was taken with palsy, so that he could no more speak. Look at that, messing around with the temple. He could no more speak anything, nor give orders concerning his house. So Alchemist died at that time with great torment. Now when Bacchias saw that Alchemist was dead, he returned to the king, whereupon the land of Judea was in rest 2 years. Then all the ungodly men held a council, saying, behold, Jonathan and his company are at ease, and dwelt without care. Now therefore we will bring Bacchias hither, so who shall take them all in one night. So they went and consulted with him. Then removed he and came with a great host, and sent letters privately to his adherents in Judea, that they should take Jonathan and those that were with him. Howbeit they could not, because their counsel was known unto them. Wherefore they took of the men of the country that were authors of that mischief about 50 persons, and slew them. Afterward Jonathan and Simon and they that were with him got them away to Bethbasi, which is in the wilderness, and they repaired the decays thereof, and made it strong. Which then, when Bacchias knew, he gathered together all his hosts, and sent word to them that were of Judea. And then went he and laid siege against Bethbasi, and they fought against it a long season, and made engines of war. But Jonathan left his brother Simon in the city, and went forth himself into the country, and with a certain number went he forth, and he smote Odonax and his brethren, and the children of Phazaron in their tent. And when he began to smite them and came up with his forces, Simon and his company went out of the city and burnt up the engines of war, and fought against Bacchias, who was discomfited by them, and they afflicted him sore. For his counsel had travailed for his counsel, and travail was in vain. Wherefore he was very wroth at the wicked men that gave him counsel, the wicked Israelites. See that? Gave him counsel to come into the country, inasmuch as he slew many of them. So he killed them jokers. You don't pay to go against the Most High. He'll have the very ones that you betray him with, put you to death. I'm just saying that. And purpose to return into his own country. Verse 70, whereof when Jonathan had knowledge, he sent ambassadors unto him to the end he should make peace with him and deliver them the prisoners, which thing he accepted and did according to his demands, and swear unto him that he would never do him harm all the days of his life. When therefore he had restored unto him the prisoners that he had taken aforetime out of the land of Judea, he returned and went his way into his own land, neither came he any more into their borders. Thus the sword ceased from Israel. But Jonathan dwelt in Maccabees and began to govern the people, and he destroyed the ungodly men out of Israel. Hallelujah. Look at the battles. We think we're going through something. We about to go through persecution. But look at the battles. I mean, these people got every now and then they got to rest from battle. But every time they got comfortable and there was another enemy rising up, just like us, Satan, always rising up, coming against us, one temptation after another. But the Most High was with him. Wow. And this is what they kept from us when they said there was silence of 400 years between Malachi and Matthew. As we can see, the Romans are already in the picture. Okay, family, we'll be back in the morning at 10 o'clock. With chapter 10 for Shabbat. Back in the morning for chapter 10. Also, we will be doing a service tomorrow at 3 o'clock for our regular YAH'S Way Truth and Life assembly. So we will be bringing a message on tomorrow. But tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, we will be reading chapter 10 of First Maccabees. We'll be starting there. First Maccabees chapter 10. So with that, family, thank you all for hanging in there. It's 9:33. For all that hung in, all praises to the Most High. We give all praise to him. Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Ruach, the Father and the Son. You can't have one without the other because they are one. And we're just grateful to be able to have been in your presence tonight to read. I hope it wasn't overbearing or too long, or hope I didn't go too fast or confuse anyone. And please keep me in your prayers, because I truly try to just let the word speak for itself, and I only expound on what's already understood. That's what I try to keep it that way, family. I have no interpretation. Okay, I let the word speak. Hallelujah. In the book room, our motto is just give me book. So we line upon line, precept upon precept, here a little, there a little. And our mission is to wake up our people, to bring this basura to them, this good news. Hallelujah. Good news goes beyond the death, burial, and resurrection. It goes into the millennial reign. Hallelujah. So we need to prepare our people for what's coming, so that they'll know, they'll have what it takes by keeping the law, statutes, and commandments and walking in righteousness. Hallelujah. Loving them, the Most High with all their heart, mind, soul, and strength, and their neighbor as their self, so we can make it in. We got to go through. We got to be taken into the wilderness, under the rod, and back into the covenant. Hallelujah. Back into the covenant. And then we that make it out of the wilderness will go into Jerusalem with the Messiah as he reigns for 1,000 years. That being said, family, I love you all. Thank you all for being in the room. Keep us in your prayers. Anyone that wants to send a donation, the Cash App is there. Every time I bring it up big, it gets blocked out. I don't know how to get that thing out of the way. But if you want to be supportive, I do have some things I want to do as far as getting material. See this thing here, I can't move. But it says the book room. Okay, Good Tidings Deliverance Ministry. I got to change that to YAH'S Way. Okay, so I got to do some, but Cash App is G Tidings DM. I'm going to change all of that. But I couldn't change the Cash App yet because I changed it recently. So this Good Tidings was the name of the ministry that I had when I came to North Carolina. All right, and this is the Cash App that I had for it. I did not got my name in there, but the Cash App is G Tidings DM. That's me, Deliverance Ministry. All right. So with that being said, family, be at peace. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, and have a great Sabbath. And as I always say, be at peace, family.